Sara Van Dyke is here. We're going to talk a little softball as the season's not very far away. I think it's, your opener's less than a month away, right? Is that
just almost at a month, because
Yeah.
today's the 21st. We play the 25th and 26th in Arkansas, Harrison, Arkansas.
Yeah, so we're sitting here and it's 0 degrees outside. You got to be inside. Yeah, spoken like a softball coach. But 0 degrees outside. Where do you guys practice? How do you get any outside time at all?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, if it's warm out and there's no snow, we will, use you obviously use the facility, the hitting facility, the dairy. But if there's no snow on the ground, no snow on the tennis courts, we'll go out there and hit some balls with the girls, or long toss, anything like that to get their arms back in shape for season. We make it work. We go to the gym some too when it's not in use, but obviously basketball season is priority right now. So, and that's totally understood. So we just kind of work around them. If we can get in for, a few minutes here or there, we do it and we make it work. We've made it work for a long time now, so we just got to keep working.
That's a good point. You've been doing it for a while. When's the first time you think you might even get on your actual softball field?
That's a great question.
You just don't know, do you?
No, it's a toss-up. It's always a toss-up. I thought you were going to just ask a field in general, because I was going to say, yep, when we go play for the first time, that will be the time we get on the field. But your guess is as good as mine.
Right,
it just depends on, if we keep this 0-degree weather or it warms back up, and what the field looks like.
Right. You're taking over for Steve Richmond, who was, I think he coached 5 years softball here.
Yes,
but he's
he did softball
been
5
here
years.
a long time. Has that realization kind of hit you? Because you've been through the fall now. Has it kind of sunk in, the responsibilities and all of that?
Yes. I'm in the honeymoon phase still. I think is that a good term for it? So it definitely has. I make a lot of decisions that I didn't know that I necessarily would be making. Which
For example?
With all this COVID stuff, calls, different things like that. Hotel rooms, schedules. And I knew that was going to happen, but it was just one of those things that hit me like a train, and I was like, oh. I need to do that. I need to do that. Yeah, let's do it. Right, so, just anything like that, really.
Sure.
And it's those things that he was really good at. He always had something to say. He always knew what to say. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's been like, man, what should I say in this situation that could kind of, buffer it or make it better or spin it around so we're more positive again with the whole situation, whatever it may be, But.
Right. One thing I always said was that as an assistant coach, you never have to say no. Because if someone comes and asks you a question and the answer is no, you don't want to tell them. You just say, go ask the head coach.
Go ask coach.
Now this is different. Now you do have to say no. Are you good at that? Are you good at saying no when you have to?
So I think I have gotten better. I feel like I hold my girls really accountable, and they know that. I see all the potential that they have, and I think they're slowly starting to see that too.
Right.
So I think it's come to the point where it's like, I'm saying no because I know this is going to make you better. And I think they've come to realize that. So I think now that they're realizing that, it snowballs to me to where it's easier for me to be like, no, that's not going to work, or no, we're not doing it that way, or, whatever. So I think it's slowly gotten easier, but I'm not a no person. I'm like, let's pile 50 different things on and do it and struggle and just keep going. Like, we're here for it.
Right.
So.
Well, you talked about the potential of this team, and last year was such a landmark year for softball. You played well, went deep into the postseason. This year, I think you have everybody returning except maybe just a few. So you've got a lot of people returning, and you've got a lot of depth. That in itself could be a problem in some regards.
Oh, exactly. And I think you and I talked about this just in passing conversation one day. You're like, you have a lot of good players. And you said something about, maybe too many. And I was like, I thought the same thing. Like, we have a lot of girls that can do a lot of good things, and I think that is an advantage, but also sometimes it's a disadvantage because they don't get that time to shine. Not everyone's going to get that time to shine all the time, and maybe it's their day, and I don't realize it's their day just to do that because I'm not going to see and just focus every single. You know what I mean? Like during warm-ups and stuff, you don't just stare and figure things out. Like I kind of have my lineups and stuff ready to go. And I can switch it. Obviously, it's not that big of a deal, but it's one of those things where. Like you said, we have a lot of good players.
Well, are you talking then about instead of making up your mind about who's going to start on a specific day that morning, maybe you're looking at them in practice and they've got to prove themselves in practice a little bit?
Oh, for sure, a little, but I think I'm one of the people that, really emphasizes hustle and drive and want. And, like, if I see that you are wanting to be there, like, I'm going to give you that chance. If you're just going to mope around in lackadaisical, whatever, like, why are you here then?
Good question.
And that sounds it doesn't sound bad, but it kind of sounds bad. But I think the girls know that, and they know that I expect the hustle out of them, the drive out of them. So I don't really have that problem too often. Right. But I think it's just we do have depth, and we're going to use it to our advantage. I mean.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about depth, especially in the circle, because softball kind of starts with pitching. Yeah. How are you sitting right there at this point?
I think really pretty good. We have Sammy, we have Chloe, and I have Sadie, and I have probably 5 or 6 other girls probably have 5 other girls that can pitch. Mm-hmm. Emma, Kerrigan, Abby, Maddie. I'm trying to think of somebody else.
Well, I'm going to ask you this because people will ask me what happened to Casey Stout. She was a freshman last year. She kind of blew everybody away. She's no longer with the team. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
So Casey had an opportunity arise for her at UMKC, and she ended up jumping on it. And I guess one of my things is I want the girls to do what's best for them. If that's their best decision and what's going to put them in the best spot in their life, then that's great. And I mean, I'm really happy for her. I'm excited for her and excited to see what she's going to do this year, because she did really well for us last year, and even in the fall she did well. Kind of working through some injuries and stuff, she still did really well for us. But it is what it is. Right. She's bettering herself, and that gives us a chance to use other girls that might not have gotten that opportunity because she was here.
Yeah. And Sammy Bradshaw pitched very well for you.
She did.
Maybe just overshadowed a little bit because Casey had such a monster year, but Sammy's got a lot of experience and a very good bat also, as Casey did.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. I think it's almost funny. You don't want them to be really they were never at each other, but you don't want them to be at each other, but it's a good competition. They need that competition to do better, to do bigger things, to do better. And I think that was good for the both of them, seeing, she can do that. Maybe I need to work on that because, she's getting, a few more innings than I am because of it. It's just little things like that. I think it's good. I think it's good that they have that competition, and Sammy and Chloe are going to compete just like that this year, I think. Right. They both pitch really well. They hit spots really well, move the ball really well. So we're going to go with it. And like I said, we have other girls too that can fill innings, and they know that, and we get them through a workout once a week almost, or once every other week. The girls who aren't going to see as many innings, but I want to keep them in there. I want to keep them in shape and ready to go if we do need them. So
let's talk just defensively about infielders and catchers. Who are some of the people you're going to look at in those positions?
Okay. That's how
with 22, your eyes are kind of glazing over, and I get that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just mention a few, if you would, please.
Okay, so we actually pulled Carson Sporleader in. She transferred here at semester, and I think that this is going to be a big spring for her behind the plate. Actually, she's a pretty good catcher from what I've seen so far, and she's a good kid, really good kid. So I like that too. She's definitely going to get some innings behind there. Madison Cowman is going to get innings behind there. Or at least instead of getting behind there, and Marissa Buckaloo will too. So I have depth in catching too, and that's nice. It's something that we haven't had in a few years. We've had just a couple catchers, and we've gotten by, but I think it's nice to have options with that. And then going over to third base, Lindsay Batson plays a lot for us at third, and so does Audrey Ellifritz. They kind of go back and forth. They're both really good players, and they will see innings too.
Right.
We'll just go around.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's good.
So at short, let's see, Arissa Jackson does a really good job for us there. So does Kerrigan Baker. And then we have a couple other girls. Abby plays just a middle infield. Really and truly, she's a middle infielder. And if I need her at second, she's at second. She's done really well at second. I kind of like her there, really and truly. She had a lot of innings at short last year, and I think that she's a good shortstop, but I also think she's a really good second baseman. Right. And then also Katie Salisbury is over at second base too. So, we have a solid middle infield. Really and truly, they lay out for it. They're here for the right reasons, they want the ball. So they're after it. Then on the mound, Sammy and Chloe will definitely share a lot of innings. Probably those double headers, they'll split most of those. And then Sadie will be in doing that too. Sadie Smith, she also plays center field for us. Just a a good kid, a pretty good little pitcher. She doesn't have the velocity, but she has the movement. The movement is there, and it's fun to watch.
Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to watch, and my goodness, she has a cannon for an arm. And at center field, I wouldn't put it past her. She could smoke somebody at home plate and easy, at the fence probably. Fun to watch. And if you're catching her ball, you're kind of like, I don't know if I want my body. I don't want my body in the way of that. Throw it right through the glove maybe. But yeah, I think she'll do good for us too. And just burn some innings more than anything. Then over at first base, I'm deep at first base right now. I've actually thrown Madison in practice a couple times over. She's working on a shoulder. It's a little sore every once in a while, so I think first I'll give her the opportunity to keep her bat in the lineup, to work on some stuff, to get her feet moving, keep her in there. I want her in the lineup, and I think that'll help. But I also have Keisha Williamson, Maddie Cole, and Zoe Chrisman over there too. So they're all good players, and that's what I said. I have so much depth in all my positions, and it's hard, and it's going to be tough to keep everyone happy at that. But, it is what it is at this point. The best players will play, and, we're going to be successful regardless.
Right.
But
how about in the outfield? Who are, you don't have to go by position, but who are just some of generally your outfielders?
So Emma and Madeline and Mallory and I almost said Katie, but Katie and Corey, every once in a while I throw them together. Corey and Sadie. And Riley and Erica, and
again deep.
Again deep. Yeah, for sure. And if I miss someone, I'm sorry, but it's a lot. There's a lot of girls out there.
Okay, so let's switch to offense. Who do you expect to be some of your top offensive players this year?
I wish I knew, because I think one day I watch her and I'm like, I think I could see this lineup. Like I have, 16 lineups in my phone right now because I sit at practice and I'm watching. I'm like, okay, this could work this way. Then I'm like, the next day I'm like, well, this could work this way, and this could work that way. Really and truly, I don't know. I don't know yet, and I kind of want to see them in a game. I kind of want to see them live again and go from there. The Buckaloo twins really did well for us in the fall. They can hit the ball. They can flat out hit the ball. If they get a hold of it, it's going to go somewhere for sure.
Right.
They did well for us. And then we have quite a few lefties this year, so I like utilizing that. Yeah, there's a
good thing.
It is a good thing, and some of the other schools have had that in the past, and it's been like kind of crazy to me how many lefties. And I think we're going to try and utilize it that way too. Maybe do an every other thing, or do lefty, 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 and then send the righties in, because half of a lineup could easily be, or almost a full lineup could easily be left-handed batters.
Isn't that interesting?
It's crazy to me, and some of them are girls who are right-handed players, and they bat left-handed. They got taught at a young age to switch. And with Katie Salisbury, actually, her glove eats anything up if it comes to her. And we switched over to the left side, and I think she's going to have a lot of success there.
Okay.
We just did that this fall, and she took latched right onto it, and that was awesome. It was awesome that she was like, yeah, I'm willing to do that because I want her in my lineup. I want her on the field, so figuring things out.
Well, again, we've talked about this a little bit too. With lefties, do you have a lot of slap hitters? Do you have people that do that? Because it seems to be, at least what I've noticed in the last couple of years being here, that it's not as prevalent as it used to be.
No, but I actually do have three girls that can slap, and then my other lefties drag bunt. So it's kind of a nice little thing. So Corey, Erica, and then we switch Katie over to left side. So all three of those girls slap. Corey and Erica can actually hit from the left side. Well, Erica's a left-handed batter regardless, but Corey can hit either side. I've never seen her hit right side like in game or anything, but she can hit either side. So we work on that with them. They mostly slap though.
Right.
And then Katie has a nice little, just at that contact point, it's a sweet little, it's almost like a drag bunt at that point, but it's like a push bunt, whatever you want to call it. It's a neat little thing. If she's going, she's going to beat it out. If she gets a hold of that ball, she's going to beat it out, regardless of where it's at, I think.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that.
Definitely not. But then Lindsay's on the left side, Carson's on the left side, Emma's on the left side, and Lindsay and Emma both have a nice little, push, drag, bunt deal that we've worked on in practice. It's kind of neat to watch. It's one of those things that I'm like, okay, if we're going to do it in the game, we're going to need to practice it. Because every once in a while, either of them will throw it in, and I'm like, I need to know we're gonna do that. Like, I need to know our game plan, guys. We can't just do it and then be like, okay, that worked. Like, let's make it work again. And different things like that. And then Carson's just a straight up lefty hitter. So.
Okay. What about your schedule? What's just one or two high points of your schedule that you're really looking forward to?
I always look forward to the opener, the season opener in Arkansas. The girls absolutely love that trip. It's our first, which we traveled in the fall actually and stayed overnight. So we did have an overnight trip then, but it's the first overnight trip of the spring season. It just really opens everything up. We stay in Branson and, kind of let them go shopping and do, the girl things they like. I'm not a shopper myself, but
you're not a shopper?
No, I would rather sit on the bus or just like trail around and make sure everyone's doing fine. But it's just a fun trip. That one, and then I actually am looking forward to going down to Three Rivers, which may sound crazy, but I kind of like that trip, and we don't make it but every other year, and we haven't been there for a few years because of COVID. Like when our season got canceled in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah, we hadn't. I think it was our season. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
no.
I think it was because
it was their turn to come up here.
Yeah.
But COVID canceled that, and then the next year. So last year they still came up here.
Yeah.
So it worked out that way.
Because that year you're talking about that they canceled it, I was going to go down there and with the team, and then we got canceled. Of course, the whole season.
Yes, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We're powering through it again.
Okay.
So it's fine. That's fine.
And so the season opener, your trip to Arkansas, do you know the date off the top of your head?
Yes, the 25th and 26th of February, and that is coming up quick. And then the next weekend, we actually play in just kind of a 4-game series at KCK, so that'll be fun. We haven't played them in a few years, and that'll be a fun matchup. And they have a really nice facility over there, so I'm excited they have that nice turf field, so I'm excited to get the girls on that and get them playing again. And then
I'll have to say to promote Pirates Digital Media that we'll have a good portion of your schedule because we got to split it with baseball a little bit, but online we'll do live, and so looking forward to seeing your kids play this year.
Yes. I love that, and I know a lot of the kids love it. They love going back and making fun of each other, truly.
Well, that's a lot better than making fun of me. I'm glad about that.
I agree. As long as it's not me, if you guys want to do that, that's fine. But I know it's really appreciated by like the parents and grandparents and stuff. Even my parents and grandparents watch it, so it's nice.
Coach, thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to the season.
Yeah.
Got a month to get ready, and so I know you've been working hard.
Yes.